Hello there, welcome to part 2 in the Every Chord at the Piano video pair. The first video was on in-octave chords, diminished, major 7, minor 6, all these things, sus chords. This one is outside the octave, which is going to involve the 9, 11 and 13. Why? Because chords are built on thirds from the major scale. Major scale mastery is behind all chord knowledge. So chords are built on 1, 3, 5, 7, and if you keep going, you get 9, 11, 13. But the 9, 11 and 13 are the missing notes down here of the major scale, you see? So, we're going to focus on these. I'm going to go through each one and drop in a couple of, interesting things here and there. So, the first one is the 9. Any extension, especially the 9 and the 13, they automatically imply the flat 7. I'm demonstrating in the key of C, of course, applies to all keys. So if I say, or if you see C9, and this is the philosophy about chords, you play what you say. So C9 just means play C7 and put the 9 on top. You play what you say with that extra little rule on the top. And that sounds very nice. If I want to play the major 7 with that 9, I'm going to show you all the variations of the extensions and then we'll mix and match. Then I'd write, you'll see, C major 9. The major refers to not the triad, but the major 7. It's all about the 7 into the extensions. C major 9, and that can be written as C triangle 9. You would have learnt the triangle from part 1. It could be written as C capital M 9, or it can be written as C major 9. You'll see all three versions of that one. So that's very nice. C major 9, C9. Now with any extension, if you just want to put the 9 without a 7, then you use the word add. And you see that sometimes. C add 9. It wants that more open, spacious sound. F add 9. E flat add 9. D add 9. It's an openness. No major 7, no regular 7, no dominant 7, no flat 7 there. So I'll just show you what that looks like. You'll see it often as C, then just small letters, add 9. Sometimes it will be in brackets. It's just literally that. And that applies to the other extensions as well. If I want to write C add 13, you'd see that. A little bit rare, but you could see, I've seen it in my life. C add 9, C add sharp 11. You can see that sometimes. That's the idea. Now, what can you do with the 9? I'm going to show you, by the way, what all the chords that work together in the end. I'm just going to put them all together, and I've got a little list for you in the description box below for you to just look at everything. C9. That's the default with the flat 7. It's implied. Now you can sharpen that 9 and get a bluesy sound, a hard blues sound. It's quite nice. And again, you'd write that C sharp 9. Often, they will put a 7 before an extension, which is redundant, but you do see it sometimes. So you'll see C sharp 9 in brackets, so that it's not confused for C sharp as a chord, and then just a 9 in the key of C sharp. This is the 9 in C sharp, not the sharp 9. So it doesn't mean that. It means C sharp 9. So sometimes you'll see it written as C sharp 9 in brackets, or you'll get the C7 sharp 9 literally written out, just so you don't get confused and play C sharp 9 instead of C sharp 9. And that can also be flattened, which is a softer, sweeter, cuter sound. Very, very common in jazz to play a flat 9 before you go up a fourth, for example. C would go up to F. It sounds very nice, especially when you move it onto a minor. F minor 9, so F minor 7, or F minor 9 as well. Sounds very nice. Put the 9 on there. Up to F minor 9. It sounds very nice. F minor 7. there's a 9. We'll do the minor 9s in a minute. So you can move around the 9, you can sharpen it or flatten it. So that gives you 3 options for the 9. Regular, C9, C sharp 9, C flat 9, of course in any key. Now that works with any kind of variation of a dominant chord. So we could have C sus. I've talked about this chord in part 1. So you could get C sus, flat 9, for a little bit more tension. It's possible to write that. C sus, sharp 9. Kind of a more modern sound. So you can mix and match certain chord types. Some of them don't make sense. So let's just start with the regular 9. If I say C minor 9, C minor, 9, flat 7 is implied. So C minor 9, you can just play a C minor 7 chord, put a 9 on top. Sounds very nice, one of my favourite chord types. C minor 9, F minor 9, G minor 9. I'm playing the same chord in both hands, but my thumb and little finger in the right hand are just putting the 9 on top instead of the root, the G. Key of C, 9 with the thumb and little finger instead of the root. But the main part is the same, minor 5, 7. It's a nice little thing to do. Move it around. But you can't play, for example, C minor sharp 9 because it disappears. It becomes the same note as the minor, so it just disappears. So you'll see that some of the chords don't make any sense, so it's silly. Others sound awful and you just have to learn them. C minor 7 flat 9, no. Like, what is that? It's a very, very ugly sound. So you'll never see C minor 7 flat 9. The flat 9 and the sharp 9 generally are major third based chords with a flat 7. If I want to play that with a major 7, you'll see that the sharp and the flat 9 don't really work because it's too romantic, this sound. Major 7? Why would you add a hard blues sharp 9 to that? Not very nice at all. Why would you add a flat 9 to that? A nice soft sound against a romantic chord. It's ugly. In the key of F. F major 7, flat 9. Awful sounds. So you don't really play many of these extensions with a minor, generally. The 9 okay, but not the sharp 9, the flat 9, and you'll see that the 13 is kind of okay with the minor, but it's my least favourite chord. You can flatten the 13, but that sounds nothing. Doesn't sound very nice either. And I'm going to talk about the 11 in just a moment. So there's quite a lot of stuff about the 9, though, as you can see. C major 9, C9, C7, if you want to say that, flat 9, C7 sharp 9, etc. You could put the 9 goes with every chord. If I play a whole diminished, C9 whole diminished, C9 half diminished. Not a bad sound really, it's kind of just about okay. Could go anywhere. Nice chord. C6 / 9. They all work, as you see. The 9 goes everywhere. Now, with the minor chord types, C minor 9, fine. C minor major 7 with a 9, you'd say C minor 9, major 9, to imply major 7. So that would be written, for example. You see how it's just mixing and matching. I don't want you to get overwhelmed. You're just playing what you say. So that one would look like this. C minor, major 7, 9. You just play that. C minor, major 9. And again, you're not going to flatten that because it's going to sound awful. And you're not going to sharpen it because it disappears into being a minor there. It's just, it's illogical. C minor major 9. That's the beginning of Cry Me a River. The chord is C minor major 7. And the melody is a D, which makes C minor major 9 as a chord. So that's quite a lot about the 9. Let's jump to the 11. Now, the 11th only works with minor-based chords. Just remember that. The sharp 11 prefers major-based chords because there's a clash otherwise. If I play C minor 7 with a sharp 11, not very nice. Whereas the opposite is also true. If I play a regular chord like C7 but with an F, the 11, doesn't really work. C major 7 with an 11, which would be called C major 11. It just doesn't want to be there. It doesn't want to be there. So you'll play sharp 11 with major 7 and 7. This is a very famous ending chord type. C major, sharp 11. Often you'll play a 9 just to fill in the space because all the extensions can generally work together. So C major 9, sharp 11. You could even say C major 13, sharp 11, and then you might add the 9 for yourself. They all work. Sounds lovely. And if I play C minor 7, the F, the regular 11 works. So you'd write C minor, turn over the page. Here you just write C minor 11. You see that a lot. F minor 11, A minor 11. And it's your choice to put in the 9 if you want to. You can put a 9 in the brackets. Even if you see C minor 9, you could choose to add the 11. It's just your choice. Jazz is free like that. C minor 11, and I'm adding a 9 because it sounds nice. Very common chord type, that one, on the key of A minor 7, which is an extremely common chord. You add the 9 and the 11. Just get used to seeing that shape. It's a very nice, kind of rich chord. It sounds like it's in the middle of the song. The song is ongoing, and you just land on that chord in the middle. It's nice. D minor 7, here's the 9, here's the 11. Very nice thing to do. G minor 9 with the 11. It's a very nice sound. F minor 9 with the 11. That's the first kind of chord I like to play in that song called Pure Imagination from Willy Wonka. The melody note is the 11. The chord type is F minor 7. Put the 9 in there as well. And just play it all together. Sounds lovely. So that's the 11. So it only works, so just write the other one. So you'd write like C major 7, sharp 11. You'll see that quite a lot. A major 7 with a sharp 11. You don't play sharp 11 with the minor, and you don't play regular 11 with the major. Not very nice. What's the minor? Just to avoid that tension between the E and the F in this key. Let's get used to doing that. Sharp 11 with major 7 or regular 7. Kind of a nice sound. That would just be called C sharp 11. You'd write C, put the 7 if you want, sharp 11 in brackets if you want. A very ending kind of vibe. But kind of mysterious happy, not romantic happy. Like the major 7. Very romantic and longing. But with the flat 7, just a bit cuter, a bit sweeter, just a little bit softer. Now the 13 will 99% of the time be played with the regular 7 and a major 3rd. You know, just playing the C and the E, the 1 and 3. But the A, the 6, it looks like the 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but it's technically 13 because we've counted from here, 1, 2, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13. That is a nice chord. It's very, very popular in jazz, of course. And this is one of the famous voicings, which I can just show you right now. The voicing for a 13, first of all, you'll write it as C13, just like C9. It implies a flat 7. And there's quite a big jump between that flat 7 and the 13. And it just came to be that you put the 3rd in the middle and remove everything else. A nice way to remember this is that 7 and 6 makes 13, meaning flat 7, but still 7 and 6 makes 13. Put the 3 in the middle to define it as a major triad. So that's a nice voicing, the order that you play the notes. So just remember 7, 3, 6. 7 and 6 makes 13. That's a nice voicing. And you want to get used to these shapes in common keys. I have a video on that somewhere where I talk about the most common chord types in each key. Very, very valuable video, I think. Because you don't need to learn, like, F sharp 13. You're never really going to see that. C sharp or D flat 13. You're not going to see that. Even B 13, you don't really see that. E 13, you don't really see that. 13 is often on C, F, G, B flat, A. More common places where it just happens to be. Normally where it's acting as a 5 chord. So B flat 13, 7, 3, 6, because 5 is so common on B flat to land on E as 1. It's a very, very common thing to do. Land on E flat, major 9, here I'm playing. Major 7 with the 9, E flat, major 9. So that's a nice one to do there. Sometimes, again, you'll see C7, 13 in brackets, but the 7 is unnecessary, it's redundant. Now, so that's a nice voicing. And of course, again, you can add the 9 to the 13 just to fill in a bit of space as well. Here we're playing root position, or I'm literally just showing you all the notes. But if we add that 9 logic to the voicing, put the 3 in the middle, remove C, E, and G from the bottom, here's your first little trick. When you play a 13 voicing, put the 9 in there. Sounds nice. In the key of A, you're always going to see it, because it often goes down to D. So A7, put the 7 on the bottom, 3 in the middle, 6 on top. Get used to that shape. You're going to see it and play it everywhere. G, C sharp, F sharp, 7, 3, 6, technically 13. And put the 9 in there, the B. Lovely sound. My tripod is there, but then an A in the bass. Very, very common. We can take it even further. Let me just go back to the C shape. C13, voicing. I said you can play the 9. But since it's a dominant 7 chord type, you can move around that 9. So let's make it flat. Very, very common position. Get that in your fingers. That's going to go up to F, or down a 5th, up a 4th, I like to say. Onto F. Lovely sound. B flat 13. Here's the 9. C flat is the flat 9. It's probably the most common chord I play. B flat 13, flat 9. 13, 7, 3, 6, 9, but flattened. Because you can. Back to the key of C. 9, 13. The flat 9 works because it's a major third flat 7 chord type. So even if you see a C flat 9, you can add the 13 to it anyway if you want to. Very, very lovely sounds. If you sharpen it, it's going to change it a little bit. Listen. Not the same. It's your choice. But the flat 9 is very nice with the 13. It just fits perfectly. So that's very nice. Now you can flatten the 13. Oh, by the way, on the F, the 11, you cannot flatten the 11 because it becomes a third. Very, very simple, really. So don't flat the 11. It never happens. Same with the 13. You never sharpen it because it just becomes a flat 7, same note. So it disappears. If I play C9, sharp 13, I'm just doubling up on the flat 7. So it's redundant. C13, very nice. Now the flat 13 is again one of these dominant 7 kind of extensions. It loves the C7. The regular 13 is okay with a major 7. And again, you can put the 9 in it because the 9 just goes everywhere. Quite a nice sound. C major 13, that would be. So that one you'd write C, triangle, or capital M, or MAJ 13. So when you see a 13, you'll often add a 9. So that's C major 13. C 13. When you say the extension, the flat 7 is implied. You just have to remember that. So you're not going to flatten the 13 because, with a major 7, because it's going to clash. It's the flat 7, just like the sharp and flat 9, they like dominant 7 chords. So you can play here C9, flat 13. Just playing the numbers of the major scale. Shouldn't be too overwhelming. Of course you need to learn the shapes and practice, but the theory is just notes of the major scale. And you can, of course, because it's a dominant 7 chord type with a major third, you can also sharp or flat the 9. So let's play C, sharp 9, flat 13. Kind of a nice jazz sound. Let's play C flat 9, flat 13. One of my favourite chord types. Key of F. F, 9, but flatten. D is the 13, flatten it. Same kind of thing. In the key of B flat, which is very common, we'll play that B flat 7, flat 9, put the 3 in here if we want to. G is the 6th, we flatten it. Extremely common chord position. You need to learn that. Very, very nice. And if you do it with that voicing, 7, 3, 6 originally, put the 9 in it, but flatten it, and flatten the 13. You get that shape. Same thing, you're just playing the same notes. Of course you need to learn the shapes. I don't expect you to take it away right now, but you get the idea, hopefully. So as you can see, and the 13 also with the minors, you've got C minor 13. This is my least favourite chord. It's kind of acceptable, I understand and accept, but I don't like it. My least favourite chord from all chords. Even if you add the 9 to soften it a little bit, which is okay because the 9 goes with minor 7 chords. Okay, you know, softens it a bit, but I don't like it. And again, here you're not going to play a flat 9 because it's a minor chord type. Not very nice. You're not going to sharpen it again because there's no major third. It's just not very nice. And of course it disappears to be a minor. So you're not going to flatten the 13 because it's a minor. You know, all the alterations, in other words, of the 9 and the 13 prefer just simply, they add on to a 7 chord type, a dominant 7 chord type. So that's kind of it, really. I encourage you to go around and mix and match them. I've got a little list below, a document of all the chord types and what works with what. But have an experiment as well. Just see what you can find. Just name one randomly and see if it's going to work. Let's say, I mean, I know the answer already, but let's say C minor 6, sharp 11. Should that work? You should say no, because the sharp 11 doesn't like the minor-based chords. It likes the major-based chords. It's not going to sound too good. C minor 6, sharp 11. It's not going to work. Even if you put the 9 in there. It's not going to work. That sounds very nice. If I had said C6/11, that's not going to work either, because the 11 prefers the minor triads, not the major. Not going to work. C minor 6, add 11, or C minor 6/11 is going to be okay. Kind of mysterious, cute, mysterious. It's not too bad. You see, you don't really see C minor 6/11, but no, it's not too bad. So just try and name ones. I'll just do one more example, then I'll close. Let's say C major flat 13. That isn't going to work. Why? Because a flat 13 prefers dominant 7, not major 7. C major, implying major 7, flat 13. Awful sound. Even if I try and soften it with a 9. No. Don't put a sharp or flat 9 either, because it's major 7. They don't like it. These altered notes, they're called altered notes. They don't like the major 7. They like to be dominant 7 additions. C9, C sharp 9, C flat 9. The 11 only works with the minor triad, so C sharp 11. C13. Okay, C flat 13, fine, because it's all with the dominant 7. So most of them apply to that. And it's down to you to have a look at the list I've made, or just experiment with which ones work with 6 and whole diminished and minor major 7s and things like that. And you'll just start to recognize these common rules. But the main one is that most of the extensions just prefer a 7th chord with the flat 7 on top. I'm going to make a video, because people have asked about it, on voicings. I gave you one in this video, the 13th voicing, which is a voicing simply means you play the notes not in root position, and you play as few notes as possible to get the right sound. So here I'm not playing in the 13th chord, there's no 5, there's no root. I'm only playing the 7 and the 3 and the 6. Even if I add another one, add the 9 into it, add the flat 9, there's no 5 and there's no root. So a voicing is often based on flat 7s and the extensions and a third, major or minor, to define its type. But I'll talk about that in more detail and give some nice voicings which I'm aware of or like to play in different keys. So hopefully this video has been of use to you. Combined with part 1, you should be a chord master pretty soon. But of course, questions are welcome. So thanks so much for watching. See you in the next video. All the best, and bye for now.